Everyone in the background is saying, is he dead? Nolan, wake the up.
Claiming they're sinking and calling for help. And yet in the background, are we really hearing all of this other activity?
Nobody has ever, none of the kids on this boat have ever admitted that anybody said that they thought Nolan was dead.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Angles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at.
You are hearing the audio distress call from the boat. That is the boat on which Nolan Wells went to Horn Island. Now, there have been a lot of different accounts about whether he was on the boat when he came back from Horn Island, when he was supposed to come back from Horn Island. He never came back from Horn Island. And you can clearly hear on that version, which we obtained from the Mississippi Department of Marine Research. They released it. It's not something off TikTok or Insta. And that's what you hear. Let me hear 184 one more time, please.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Angles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
Dave Mack, Crime Stories investigative reporter. What are we hearing?
Nancy, this is the audio call from the boat that Nolan Wells took out to Horn Island. And the boat is attempting to leave Horn Island because the boat is taking on water. What we are hearing is the call from the boat to the group they have.
Cito, let me help you. Reminder, Dave Mack, we've only got 1 hour to cover a lot of territory. That is the Cito call where the grandson of the boat owner thinks that they're taking on water. Joining me right now, special guest Brandon Tatum. He is a former police officer with Tucson PD, and he is the star of The Officer Tatum on YouTube. He has interviewed Nolan's friends. Now, we're about to bring on two experts, each one taking a different viewpoint on that call. But Officer Tatum, thank you for being with us tonight. No matter what you say, just know you're going to get hate mail. Doesn't matter what you say. If the angel Gabriel came down right now and spoke on this case, he would get hate mail. That said, what do you make of that audio, officer?
Well, Nancy, thank you so much for having me on. If you put the audio within context, it is an impossibility unless these people are prophesying that somehow they're saying Nolan's name or projecting that Nolan is somehow injured, hurt, or killed, because we have witnesses that have come out. When I interviewed Warren, a lot of those kids that I talked to already alluded to this way before the audio came out, that they were gone. And people had already saw Nolan after they had left. The young lady, Katie, that he was hanging out with, I saw a text message from her alluding to the fact that she never saw him get on that boat at all. We have video of the boat that we shared on our social media page, and it shows all the occupants on the boat, and Nolan was not there. And so if a person thinks that they've heard something on the audio, they have to compare it with context. Maybe they said, is it dead? Talking about items that could potentially have died or damaged on the boat, given the fact that they were sinking. So I think people need to put this in context and reevaluate what they're listening to on the video, because if you are going to make a staunch stance in the wrong direction, in my opinion, by saying they're obviously talking about Nolan, it is incredibly impossible. One more thing real quick, that when you look at where they were at when they made the phone call and their GPS coordinates, it literally put them on the island. And we know, and not on the physical island, but really close proximity to the island. And we know, because we have another video of Nolan being out there and also all the other boats surrounding them, that this would have had to happen very near to hundreds of people in hundreds of different boats. So somebody would have seen something if there was a dramatic commotion like this occurring on that boat.
I hear what you're saying, Officer Brandon Tatum. That last part that you said, that there were hundreds of people around and they would have seen what happened, that part, I disagree with that. John Mobley joining us, veteran trial lawyer out of South Carolina. John, take off your defense hat one moment and let's address that statement. Do I have to say Tupac? That just comes off the top of my head. Crimes happen all the time in a crowded area and nobody sees anything. Either they say they didn't see anything, or they really didn't see anything, because it all blends in, right? It all blends in. I've had a little boy thrown off the 3rd level of the Mall of America, almost to his death. He did die and he was brought back to life. Nobody saw what happened. A guy threw him over. People were all over the mall. The food court was crowded. Nobody saw. I had like 2 witnesses. So I think part of it is, Mobley, you don't expect to see something. And so your mind is not interpreting, it's not intercepting what you're physically seeing. And again, we don't know what happened. We don't know why Nolan Wells has a red mark on the back of his occipital. We don't know. Was he hit? Did he fall? Then fall off a boat? It could have been any number of things. Some nefarious, some an accident, some negligent. My point is, just because there's a lot of people around, that does not guarantee you witnesses, Mobley. You know that better than anybody with all the cases you've tried.
So I want to stop there because this is a question you had, Rain, for about 5 weeks.
Now that she puts it into that perspective, and she's showing, that in other cases, 1 million people can be around and somebody can't, won't actually see what happened. Although, with that being said, with the Nolan Wells situation, I do believe that somebody somewhere knows what happened to him. I still believe that, even though she gave these situations with the young baby being thrown off the balcony and the other situation, I still believe somebody knows. It's still there, and somebody knows exactly what happened to Nolan.
I can see that. I mean, even she said, even though nobody's seen it, 2 people did see it.
Yeah.
For the Mall of America. So, but I just wanted to stop it there because Rain has had that question for about 4 to 5 weeks. Yeah. And I thought it was very interesting that she even brought up those scenarios today.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, Nancy, I got to call it like I see it. I think there are 2 things I want to say to address that. The first part, I would agree with you that, yes, a lot of people can be around and they can notice something, and something can happen rather, and people not see it. However, I think the way that the human mind works, we would all agree, is we perceive things all the time, okay? And we may perceive something that at the time we perceive it, it is not deemed significant. However, in this case, I do believe that if someone did see something that they didn't pay particular attention to involving Nolan Wells, once all of this has come out, the way the mind works is it'll trigger what they saw before, because now it becomes significant, okay? So I do agree that people can perceive things and not pay attention to them, but when something significant happens later, sort of like being robbed, you're not paying attention to what everybody's wearing, but if when somebody robs you and later on you have to recall what that person was wearing, what they looked like, you can recall it because it's important at that point. But at the time they perceived it, it was not important. So that's what I want to make sure I discuss. And I do want to address, you talk about the red mark on the back of his head. I mean, I think that is a red herring. That's something that everybody kind of latched onto because they're so desperate for any information that might be related to the cause of his death. But even the own pathologist that conducted the autopsy did not
him up. Mobley, are you a medical doctor? Yes, no.
I know how to examine forensic evidence based on the countless homicides.
Listening, not hearing, yes, no. You're not a medical doctor.
I'm a jurist.
Are you a medical examiner?
I am not.
No. Put up the back diagram, the back of the head of Nolan Wells from the second autopsy right now. You know what? I give it to you, Mobley. You're a great trial lawyer. A medical examiner, you ain't. And I don't know why you're saying people are latching onto this, grabbing at straws. I'm looking right at it, man. Should I believe you or my lying eyes? I am looking at the second autopsy. And I have questioned multiple actual medical examiners, actual doctors that say that means something. Put him up again. In what world would the first medical examiner remove Nolan's throat if it did not have something probative about it, something that proves something. Did they remove his toe? No. His elbow? No. His eyeball? His nose? No. They took his throat. Do not tell me that a medical doctor, which you are not, took a throat out of this young man because it means nothing. And then, you know what? I can't even hear you. Straight out to Joe Scott Morgan joining us, professor of forensics, death investigator. That second doctor did not highlight that in red for nothing. That doctor is not grabbing at straws, as Mobley said. I don't know why he's saying that.
No, you're right. He has purpose. We have purpose in everything that we do in the medical legal world. And so when you see this highlighted area, it's unique in the way he has diagrammed it here. He even demonstrates it that it has almost like margins to it. And, that's what has left a big question for us, because it's not like it's diffuse all over the place where you've got these kind of spotty alignments. He's got a margin. It almost looks like a rectangle, doesn't it? Well, when we begin to see things like that, we think about patterns. And that's some of the questions that have yet to be answered. But what he does say in his relative to the second examination is that he did a multi-layered dissection. Now, this area had not been dissected by the ME's office in Mississippi. So what he's doing is he's going layer by layer. We're talking about the skin. We're talking about the subcu fat. We're talking about the musculature that's under there. And yes, there is musculature under there. And what his conclusion is, Nancy, is that there's significant decomposition at this point in time. So he cannot make a determination about these markings one way or another. He needs more information. And admittedly, in the second autopsy, he says this is pending investigation. And that's key here.
Okay. Joe Scott Morgan.
Yes.
He, the first medical examiner, removed the throat.
Yes.
No other part of the body, except for the lungs, removed the throat and the lungs. We know why he took the lungs. I don't have to be a death investigator like yourself with 10,000 death investigations under my belt to know why he took the lungs, to see if no one drowned. But the fact that someone has lungs full of water does not tell me how they got in the water. Did he fall? Was he hit? Was he held under? Was it an accident? Did you see that video? Pull it up if you can, control room, of all those ships, all those boats out there. If he was between one of those boats, lost his footing, went under, got the riptide, no one may have noticed. All right? No one may have noticed. Look at all that. And there were apparently 300 or so people out there. This is just a tiny microcosm. It's July the 4th. Everybody's at Horn Island having a good time. So it could be any number of ways he landed under the water. But my point is, that's why they took the lungs. Why? The throat.
Well, because the throat and the throat area, as you're referring to it as, it's actually the organs of the neck. We're talking about the larynx, the pharynx, our windpipe, essentially, and everything else that's connected therein. That's the conveyance to get into the lungs. So one of the things, what they're looking at here, Nancy, to put it very bluntly, is they're looking for any possibility that his breathing could have been compromised. Well, how is that compromised? Well, when you begin to think about, if you put your hand in the midline of your throat, right here, okay, you begin to think about the trachea, which is encompassed right here. Was it compromised in any way? Are there any focal areas of hemorrhage? Has it been crushed? You would go up into the neck. I suspect that the tongue was probably removed as well. You're going to look at the hyoid, which did not accompany the body. But all of this has been retained. There's nothing abnormal about the state retaining the organs of the neck. This happens very, very frequently in cases like this because they want to be able to go back and examine it. And also for the future.
How do you feel about that though, Ray? Because I think they almost are double talking to us, right? Because they make certain things seem so obvious, but then they'll keep saying it's not abnormal. But you're putting so much context and so much reference on it, so it is important. So to me, it sounds like it might have been normal, but it shouldn't have been normal in this situation.
Right.
You see what I mean? Like, it's almost like confusing because I'm listening to doctors and specialists say, hey, these are very important areas. This is something you need to like gain evidence of what happened or how this person possibly drowned or if whatever the alleged allegations are. But then it's like, you'll then say it's not abnormal. It's like you're saying one thing, but then you're giving them another thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of fingers in a cookie jar trying to, get a cookie out and taste it. And in doing so, everybody's giving their own opinions on how they, how they interpreting this whole situation. Like, with the second medical examiner not receiving those critical items and the state not releasing them. But then we understand why the state hasn't released them yet. The findings are not complete. So, and then we have all these other people dipping in, giving their opinions or their expert opinion. Yeah, their expert opinions. That's what it is.
Mhm.
And it seems like everything, there's no like endpoint anywhere. There's no final button somewhere. Like this is it. This is what we saw. These are the tests that happened, because everything is still pending. Everything is still under investigation. So until Mississippi gives, I don't know if Mississippi has handed over their findings to the DA yet.
Yeah, but now to answer you and Penny, Penny said, did we ever find the tongue and throat? We won't know now because everything's going to a grand jury.
Jury, yeah.
So now we won't anything, nothing else will be released. It doesn't matter what side of the house it's coming from now. We
Mhm.
won't hear anything else. Like now we are kind of moving on speculations, the little bit of information we're getting. Yeah, so with them doing the grand jury, and we already heard the Mississippi DA last week at the town hall we did, right? They're not talking about nothing else. Like you won't get anything else from the state of Mississippi. So at this point, even if they found the tongue and throat, Penny, we won't know. We won't know until everything comes out.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate that I know Nolan's family, his mother and his mother and his parents especially, want answers as quickly as possible.
Mhm.
I know it's unsettling for them. I know Miss Christine, she said 27 days today it's been, and there's no final answer. And I understand it takes weeks for toxicology reports to come back and findings to come back on different tests and everything. But and yet and still, with that being said, with today's technology, it seemed like it should be moving at a faster rate, especially with a high profile case like this. Well, they've made it high profile now because the world is seeing it unfold every day. So it to me it seems like a match should have been lit up under somebody's feet, and like, let's get a move on this. Let's make this top priority. Let's get this over and done with. So one, the family can have answers, and two, we can move forward where we need to move forward. But it seems, I still think Mississippi and their investigations, the sheriff's office, is what they're dragging their feet for some reason. And I'm not for certain the reason, but they're dragging their feet. I can only
You said,
assume.
what's the tongue and throat missing in the first? We don't know because they haven't released that first one.
Mhm.
Like so, yeah, Penny, that's the crazy part. Like we don't know because we won't know anything that Mississippi did until we get to the grand jury, to everything. I mean, the trial comes out. So
Yeah.
he said
People have been arrested for way less. Absolutely classic. He said complexion for protection. Tom said, I hate to say this, but if I was a Caucasian boy that was in Nolan Wells' situation, it would have probably went a little different because the police would have took more investigation look.
Telling you.
Classic said that's the reason. Miles said somebody paid a lot of cash to hide body parts.
Yeah. So our goal and our intentions for me and Rain on these town halls is to continue to just bring more and more additional information that you guys probably already hear about throughout the week, but just try to break down some of the people who are covering certain areas just so that you guys can give your opinion. But this town hall is actually for you guys. So if you guys ever want to come up, like we said, you do have 2 minutes to come up and say your piece. Like I said, we want to hear your thoughts, your concerns, even if it's something positive, prayers to the Nolan Wells family, things of that nature. That's what these town halls are for. So, yeah, she said, how do we get to trial without arrest? Mario, I covered this on one of my platforms about what the grand jury role is, and I'll cover it again tonight just so you can understand how they're going to get there. because the grand jury, Mario, is going to be who decides if there's enough evidence for this to go to trial. Like right now, we're moving on evidence. Kind of goes back to what Classy said, right? Like the complexion for the protection now, they're being covered, right? They're being covered by Mississippi. So now they're trying to get enough evidence. Like if we can't find out, if nobody's going to rat or snitch, we now got to get enough evidence to take this to a trial. So that's how they'll do it without a first arrest. He said, no, it has been charged. He said, no, not yet, Penny, not yet. So we're going to play. I'm going to move this over to, because I want y'all to start hearing.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, do your thing.
I just wanted to give my personal take on the phone call that was released by the Mississippi Department. Yeah, the phone call. Everybody has interpreted, or the ones that I've ran across, the interpretations that I've run across, the reviewings that I've run across, the audio separations, whatever y'all do on the audio end, the audio people that are professionals on that end. The ones that I've come across, at the end, they hear say, Nolan, wake the F up. Or, wake the F up. A lot of people are interpreting it as wake the F up. I personally hear, shut the F up. And the reason why I'm coming to that conclusion myself, and everybody has their own opinion on it, is that they are in a loud environment. There are tons of people out there. He's trying, and I'm not covering for anybody. I'm letting y'all know I'm not taking sides.
Girl, speak your mind.
This, but I'm saying what I hear in this phone call is shut the F up at the end, because in my reason for that is because they're in this loud environment. They have music playing. There's hundreds of people out there. They're around all these boats, and it's loud. I'm not negating the rest of the phone call that came in beforehand about, oh my God, Nolan don't die, etc. But that little tidbit at the end saying, wake the F up, I'm interpreting it. My own personal opinion is shut the F up. So I just wanted to say that part.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start playing this one. It's gonna break it down. I'm gonna plug my charger in. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag
unless
on
you
here.
have a
They got
membership
ripped off.
number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at?
Reach me at.
All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
We're bringing in our forensics experts, but back to Brandon Tatum, former police officer, Tucson PD. He is the star of the Officer Tatum on YouTube. He has interviewed Nolan's friends. Okay, you're saying that I am looking at, and others are looking at this out of context. My mind is open. You may be right. And I believe, Officer Tatum, you are specifically referring to the words. Let's see the transcript of the audio as I read this, please. You're referring to alleged statements. Sure, he's dead. Is he dead? Nolan. OMG. Nolan, don't die. Then wake the F up. I thought he was on the check his chest. Now, to you, Officer Tatum, you believe that there is an innocent explanation. My mind is open. And that innocent explanation would be what?
Well, I think that if you are convinced without context that they are talking about Nolan, you're going to hear certain things and perceive it. I mean, the bilge pump is damaged. They could have been saying don't die or is it dead, referring to the bilge pump or the bilge pump. And they could have been talking about a battery. They could have been saying no, and people think they said Nolan. The only reason that I deviate from the transcript is because there are witnesses that have said they've seen Nolan after the boys had already left and after the call was already made. And also, I put my detective mind on when I look at the reasoning. But why would they be calling and giving GPS coordinates and talking to this dispatch for 8 minutes if their best friend, whom I've spoke to these boys, they've shown me pictures, they were emotional about Nolan's death. I was there during the funeral, at least there with them when the funeral was going on, and they were devastated that they couldn't go to his funeral. I perceive that it doesn't make sense if they had killed their friend in a malicious way or he was dead, that they wouldn't just simply ask for help instead of trying to cover it up and calling for a tow and talking for 8 minutes. I mean, all of those things, plus the witnesses, it just doesn't add up. And I just wish people be open-minded to saying, let me rewatch it and let me put it within context that Nolan cannot be on the boat because witnesses seen him afterwards, and let me re-listen to it and try to put it in perspective.
So you're saying witnesses saw him afterwards, after that call, or did you mean to say witnesses saw him elsewhere?
Yeah, no, witnesses saw him on the island after the call. After the boys had left around 4:30, witnesses have seen Nolan alive on the island after that. So, you know, that puts Nolan alive after that. And I think that people should be focused on, okay, now let's interview and talk to people and consider what did they see, because we're already past the point of Warren and Wyatt's boat and all of those things being involved.
Officer Tatum, I had so many trial judges from all the cases I tried in different courtrooms, but one particular judge, my favorite, Luther Alverson, he had a particular jury charge. And I've heard it so many times, I've memorized it. He said to the jury at the end of the case, after the closings, it is your duty to make all witnesses speak the truth and impugn perjury on no one. So what I'm trying to do is reconcile what you're saying with what I'm hearing. I hope Nolan Wells died by accident.
And this is what I wanted. This is why I wanted to cover this, because I hear what everybody is saying. But Nancy Grace is really saying the same thing that even me and Rain are sitting here and saying, right? She's still not giving y'all definitive answers, even though she might be more excited or more dramatic. Like, she's still, if you watch every video she does ask people questions depending on what they said. It's kind of like she's almost an antagonist to the person that's up there. But at the end of the day, she continues to say the same thing, that it's not enough evidence. I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. That's why we wanted to do the town hall. I don't think somebody's missing the point or people don't understand. I just think everybody thinks differently, and it's okay. But at the same time, I think Classy did bring up a good point. It's almost like we leaving out that something negative could have happened to Nolan. It's almost like we passed that part and we just want to say he drowned. Like, no, it could have been someone could have hit him in the back of the head. Somebody could have pushed him off the boat. It don't even matter if it was accidental. It still could have happened. So I think that's the big and overarching question. Like he said, I think that a lot of people are pretty much trying to take foul play out of it when there could still be a higher percentage of foul play. You know what I mean? So.
But I'm not shutting down our crime stories investigation until I know. Now, I want to address this sound. To Joe Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon. At Jacksonville State University, they have a world-class CrimPro lab and setup. In fact, I've called on Morgan many times to help me recreate crimes in their labs. Star of Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Joe Scott, you've been on so many death scenes, trying desperately to get to my experts, but I got to lay the foundation, as I would do in court before I bring in a piece of evidence. Joe Scott, people do crazy things when somebody dies. They panic. They think it's their fault, whether it is or it isn't. They get rid of the body. They lie. They do all sorts of things. The cover-up is very often worse than what the initial incident was. People panic. So the reaction of the friends to Nolan potentially having passed, that reaction doesn't mean that much to me, because you don't know what somebody's going to do under those circumstances.
See, she eventually starts talking just like most of people are speaking. But I know Rain talked about this as well, about just why wouldn't nobody come out? When we were talking about this behind the scenes, and I told her, I said, at this point, people are so afraid. Like the person who did it is just now so afraid. If allegedly, if somebody did it, you're going to see more people just afraid to speak up. I mean, you got ignorant people doing death threats to the mom of the victim. I mean, just think about that. Like the victim mom is getting threats. Just imagine the person that now needs to come out who might allegedly have done it. Like the fear is so high that now it's going to take, you're going to see this rabbit race for a long time. You know what I mean? You're going to see this rabbit race for a long, long time. So it's just tough, man. It's tough.
So hearing them on the boat, I hear what Tatum is saying, and it's reasonable. But how people act in that scenario is not always reasonable.
No, it's not, particularly when they're faced with somebody that's in distress and they are under the influence of alcohol. And that's going to play a huge role in this from an investigative standpoint. And not to mention probably a group of people that don't have a lot of experience with alcohol. We're talking about a group of underage kids. We're not talking about upper end college kids here. We're talking about kids that are 18 years old. They've been getting hammered out there on this.
And see this, I told Rain, this the part that makes me angry.
Yeah.
This the part that makes me really angry. Like, it's like, bruh, this happens every day.
Every day, all day.
This happens every day, dog. This happens every day. Black boys, white boys on the beach drinking beer. Like, this stuff happens every day. Like, that's the part that frustrates me is like, okay, we can wait on toxicology reports and all that, but that happens every day. That happens every day. Like, this happens every summer. Every frat boy house. Like, this stuff happens every day in normal day-to-day life. My thing is, why aren't we getting to the nicks and crumbs? Like, does the evidence we currently see show foul play? That's what we got to get to. Like, everybody out there was drinking. I mean, I don't know why we arguing about drinking. Everybody out there was drinking. Warren admitted that he's underage. Like, everybody was drinking. Everybody was drinking. So, like, at this point, like, when are we just going to get to, like, what people really need to know? Was there any foul play? Did anybody do it? And let's be able to move forward from there. Like, this drinking and this toxic, that's almost like trying to just damage the character of somebody who's no longer here. At this
and it is not needed.
Like, it's not needed. Like, they all were drinking.
They all,
like, you know what I mean? So it's stupid, man.
This island, and that's a problem, Nancy.
Well, you're right. Okay. Not that Tatum, in his own right, is not an expert. He's a former police officer with Tucson. Joe Scott, an expert. Mobley, an expert. But now let's go to our digital experts. First, Todd Shipley joining us, digital cybercrime expert, former Detective Sergeant, Reno PD, 25 years in law enforcement, author of Surviving a Cyber Attack, Securing Social Media, Protecting Your Home, author of Investigating Internet Crimes, An Intro to Solving Crimes in Cyberspace. He says nothing he hears on this audio shows that the audio has been altered. Okay, Shipley, hit it.
Well, we have to look at the fact that the audio that we received is, again, one of those that was released by the press and is probably been stepped on multiple times. Just like we had last year with another famous
Did you say that was released by the press? Hold on, Tom. That was not released by the press.
It was
released to the press, but it was released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. That was not released by the media.
Yes, Nancy, but in every station that's released it is put a copy that they've edited up online. And so we have this expectation bias that's there. So the audio obviously is real. It's been released, and the agency that released it said that it's a video or audio of the incident, but every version that we've seen has been stepped on multiple times. And so there's an expectation bias when you start putting up audio translations that you believe is there, and everybody then has this confirmation of that this is what's said. Now, we have to go back to the original audio from the government agency to get the information that we need to prove what's there in the audio, because multiple pieces released through press stations online don't always have the exact audio we want. There's already been speculation that some of the different audio, like TMZ's and the others, are a little bit edited, and they always are, because you put them on there for a specific purpose. And adding the edited versions of what you think are the audio does not necessarily mean that that's what it is. We can look at the audio and find out what's there, but we've got to look at the original version.
Hi, guys. American Home.
So we're going to stop there with Nancy Grace. She's been covering this very heavy on her channel, just kind of bringing people along. I like that she does go directly to the sources and bring them up. I think it gives just another point of view. It gives us something to think about. I think a lot of people are on the same page with how they feel about the situation. But now I think it's just getting more to the down to the you know, the meat of the whole thing, like what is what's going to happen. So again, guys, this is a time